Hey there, YouTube. So the last video I made on ChatGPT really started to get a lot of attention, so I kind of wanted to make a quick follow-up video on some general tips and tricks for using ChatGPT. So we'll go ahead and jump right into this. First and foremost, being clear and concise when you're entering in a prompt to ChatGPT. So I'll give you an example here. This first one we have write a poem about a girl and her Labrador Retriever, and I'll just go ahead and paste this in. Then we can see that we kind of have an output here. And really where ChatGPT works best is when we are giving it more details. So rather than just a general poem about a girl and a Labrador Retriever, I'm giving more direction on saying, hey, I want it to be 200 words and I want it to be in the style of Emily Dickinson. Specifically, they are exploring the Appalachian Mountains. Her dog's name is Ralph, and they find a portal to Narnia. So I'll go ahead and put this in. And so here we can see we have a very generic output. But now if I go ahead and put this other one in, we can see that very quickly it is starting to give us a response based on the parameters that we've given in. And what's really interesting about ChatGPT is since it's been trained on so much data, it understands a lot of things in pop culture references. So Narnia, it's understands that that's a magical land. So if you feed in something about James Bond, someone named James Bond, it's going to give you a response that most likely puts him in a scenario where he is a spy. First and foremost, being clear and concise when you are using ChatGPT. And in that same vein, being specific. So, this is especially true for more complex prompts when we're asking it to maybe write some code for us. So this first one, we have it saying, write us an application in Python. And this is a little generic. It might give us a code snippet and say, hey, this is, here's a basic web application in Python. This is what it would look like. But really, when you are asking it something that's more complex or, specific to code, you're going to want to be more specific in the directions you give it. So a lot of the times when you're building applications, there are going to be multiple code files. And so what we do is we kind of set the context for ChatGPT by saying that we're going to create a calculator application in Python. But then we want it to start with the file names and the structure of all the necessary code files. So let's go ahead and put this in. And I'm going to reset this thread up here at the top, which kind of clears the cache or the memory of the GPT session. And then now we can see here that it is giving us our file structure. And then basically what we would do is we would ask it to then in turn write the code for each file that we have here. So you can see it's starting to give us some examples. It looks like it's going to show us what this main.py file should look like. We're importing different packages, but really, this is going to stop here shortly, and it's not going to give us the entire structure of this application. So that's just, another thing to keep in mind is being specific with the directions you're giving it, and this is something you kind of learn with time as you are using the ChatGPT system. And so this kind of is closely related to that, which is refining the results with follow-up prompts. So, here an example I have. We want to explain how AI could be applied to medicine to treat certain diseases. And then we get an output. And each time we're asking it to refine that output. So give us a little bit more details on not just general diseases, but specific to cancer. And then write a product press release for an announcement for an AI service that works with this. So let's go ahead and put this in. Now it's going to give us a couple different ways. Again, we don't really have a specific focus here. This is a general response to our prompt. And, that's pretty basic. I don't actually see anything in here that relates to cancer. Nope. So let's go in here and say, give us more detail on the specific aspect that we want. All right, and then a lot of this is talking about kind of image recognition for tumors and things like that. And then let's go ahead and pull in this one. I'm not going to go through all of these. I'll stop here at this one. But we'll go ahead and put this in. And it just gives us kind of a dummy name here for an organization that is announcing this AI-powered cancer detection service or treatment service. And then we can say, Give the service a name. All right, there you go. So, I think you'll get the most results and the most success from this if you continue to iterate through things. This is especially true if you're using it to write blog posts. So I kind of came up with a couple ideas on, the AI assisted organization, where I kind of fed in a couple paragraphs on my thoughts for what this post should look like and the kind of the meat of the post. And then I put it into ChatGPT. I said expand on this, and then I kind of used that as a scaffold or a framework for this post. And it's kind of a similar thing that I did here with this other post, A Beginner's Guide to ChatGPT, both of which I will post in the comments below. But, for example, if you are wanting to expand on something, or maybe you have an idea and you want to ChatGPT to kind of distill that into maybe an elevator pitch, those are all really good things that you can refine through follow-up prompts in ChatGPT. And then, finally, getting creative. So really, coming up with new and unique ideas, like generate a functional overview for a toothbrush that astronauts might use. So let's go ahead and put this in and see what the system tells us. All right, and it's giving us some parameters here. So compact and lightweight. We would need something that would handle microgravity conditions, easy to grip and manipulate, and then, all right, yeah, built-in timer, etc. Now I can say add in smart features. All right, and so you can kind of use this to work through ideation, right? So you might want to start, a service or an app or a business, what have you, in a certain sector, and then you can kind of use this to help get more creative and kind of think outside of the box, so to speak. And then this one's kind of neat too, basically saying, hey, I have a bunch of different supplies around my house. What can I do with these? So I have tape, thumbtacks, cardboard, and cotton balls and yarn. What can I make by combining these? So here we go. We get a couple different things that it's talking about. Hey, you might want to make a pin board, and you can use the yarn to, create a pattern on that pin board, etc. And let's see. So reformatting and refining your work. I had mentioned the ability to kind of modify things, especially text-based inputs. And then maybe, gaining a different perspective. So if you're kind of trying to use this for educational purposes, or, asking it theoretical questions, like in this case, how might an Amish person view the advent of AI? It will, potentially, depending on the query, give you an answer. So it is likely that many Amish people would view AI with some degree of skepticism or caution. And we can say, please expand this to 200 words. And then you can see that it's kind of going on and giving us this. So with that said, there are a couple times that you will receive failures. So it might say, hey, I can't answer this, or, I can't give legal advice or things like that. Now these workarounds won't always work for you, but sometimes it does help to rephrase your question and maybe change the context or the scenario of the question that you're asking. And then finally, posing your questions as theoreticals. So I think, a friend the other day asked something about horoscopes or astrological signs, and, what astrological sign is the best match for a Libra. And ChatGPT, funnily enough, said, well, astrology isn't a real science, and it kind of gave a non-answer. But then we said, okay, let's pose this as a theoretical, and then it gave us, a satisfying answer. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with here is, using Google as a tool. So if you using Twitter as a tool. So if you go to ChatGPT in the search field on Twitter, you can find, you can sort by latest or top, and you can see who's talking about it. A lot of these, people are kind of formulating ideas on how to use it, what you can do. This thread from Alexander Volodarsky basically gives you 10 mind-blowing things you can do. If you kind of click in here, we can see generating code, and then he gives examples of this, tracking fitness, connecting it to WhatsApp, debugging code, personal assistance, marketing, etc. So I'd recommend, searching here, searching on Medium to kind of get some ideas of how you can use ChatGPT. The last comment I'll make is that I'm not sure how much longer this is going to be freely available. There is a lot of compute that goes into the back-end processing of these answers, and it is costing OpenAI money. So, use it while you can, but I'm sure there will come a point that this becomes more and more refined, and there might be a price tag associated with use. So for now, thanks for watching. Bye.